Welcome everybody to the Keys to Wisdom channel. As you can see, I got a phrase up there. I am 44 years old. And that just happened for me today. But when I saw my mom today, and I saw my dad today, my sister, my niece, nobody said a word to me about it. Because they're going to tell me happy birthday, happy 44, 9 months from now, right? I'll still be 44 years old 9 months from now, right? Based on what they think in terms of what my starting period is, my starting day, my birthday. But I take my place in the beginning, and I began at my conception. And today has been a very, very magical day. Probably the most magical day I've had in my life. And I'm going to flip this thing over in the mirror again and express through again, right? When other people are going to recognize me, right? I'll get texts 9 months from now. So happy birthday, happy 44, all that type of stuff, right? But I know what they don't know, right? Even my own parents, right? Even my own parents. But today I got a very special conception gift delivered to me this morning. And Dan McKenna did a follow-up work based upon the work that I had done for him. I had started a little path for him, and I put out that video, a triple birth date. And I put in his full name, date of birth, his Hebrew date of birth, and his Gregorian date of birth, and it produced his Julian date of birth. And he went on today to use all 3 dates of birth, along with his name, and the time he was born, and the place he was born, the city, the county, the state. And after I worked on it just a little bit, right, the country was all in there too. Right, and maybe I'll show that some other day, but I consider that to be my conception day gift, right? And I also consider it to be the greatest piece of work that I've seen anybody else produce to this point, right? And it was Dan using his own personal keys to wisdom to open up one of the rooms in one of the mansions in the house of houses, right? And of course that led me into checking out John chapter 14, different things there, and I'm having some conversations back and forth with Dan about different things, but it was some pretty magical stuff. And now I've gone on, right, to do something for myself similar. It only took me about maybe 2 minutes of trying to do mine, and I'm going to show you mine here in a second. But teach us the way of prudence, right? Are you part of God's word? Are you part of conception, right? In the beginning, right? You are part of Inception. Right? You are part of God's Word, right? And that was in that gift that Dan McKenna sent me this morning, that work he did, right? Because I told him when I replied back to it, how nice it was for me to see him doing that for himself, because I don't want to be the guy that just gives out the fish for the day, right? I want to be the guy that gives out the ability for other people to fish for the rest of their lives, right? The whole saying, right? Give a man a fish and he eats for the day. Teach a man to fish and he eats for a lifetime, right? Well, that was the big gift I was given this morning from Dan, right? He's able to fish. He's a fisherman now for life, right? All the skills needed. And he did his deal right to his exact day using all of his exact keys, right? Everything that I envisioned people doing with their own personal keys to wisdom, he did it himself, right? I started a little path for him, and he followed that path and continued on and did it completely for himself and completely unlocked one of the rooms in one of the mansions in the house of houses. So here I'm going to show you mine that I did. It took me 2 minutes to do it. Right. 12/4/78 is my conception. December 4th, I'm using month, day, year. 9/4/79 is my birth. My conception day or date, we'll use day. My conception day was my inception day. December 4 in 1978. 12/4/78. 9/4/79. And today I sit here and I take my place in the beginning. I am 44 years old from 12/4/78. And again, later this year, people will tell me happy 44th year, happy 44, and they'll do it here at 9/4/79, right? And nobody in my family or anybody I know is going to wish me any type of deal or have any recognition that my years changed today. Maybe some people here on this channel who I changed their awareness of will say, hey, happy conception day, happy 44 today to me, but this is when I started today. Never seen this before. And when I decided that I was going to go and look for it after I've been concentrating this morning on talking back and forth with Dan and working on some of his stuff there, and it took me literally 2 minutes to do this, and everything is right there, right? 12/4/78, 9/4/79. So this is going to be another example here out for those people like Dan and Randy and others who are beginning to use their own personal keys to open up their own personal room in the house that contains all of the mansions and all of the rooms. right? This is me using my own personal keys, right? And it produces all in one spot my exact conception day, my exact birthday, and today I'm showing it to you when I am exactly 44 years old today. Right? My conception day was my inception day in the beginning, December 4 in 1978, and there it all is. So whether or not I get anybody else saying anything to me or giving me anything today, right? I feel like today I got the ultimate gift, and that came from Dan, and that showed me that the stuff that I'm doing is paying off to the point where I don't have to just deliver a fish to somebody for the day, right? I'm giving them the skills that they can go on and fish for themselves for the rest of their life. And after that, right, Dan can take those skills and pass them on to anybody else and teach them how to fish too, right? And that's what this whole thing here for me is about, right? But this again, right? This here, right? This is very magical stuff to me, right? It's not magic, right? But it seems very magical. But even this, right? This thing here, it really, to me, it doesn't compare with what I got delivered and what I saw from Dan this morning. So I want to thank Dan for that. I consider that my conception day gift, and very similar here, right? I've got my exact conception day out, 12/4/78. That's what he did with his birth date, his exact birth date, 7/27/89, with all of his exact stuff, using his personal keys, the exact city, the exact county, the exact state, the exact country, the exact time. He used it all. Right, and it came out also with a perfect pair of 12/12s with a 0 in between them that was symbolizing the mountain, right? Perhaps later I'm gonna let Dan do some more stuff with it. Perhaps we'll make a video and put it out later, or maybe he'll make a video and I'll stash it in my favorites, right? Something like that. But today is a very, very, very magical day, right? And I am 44 years old today, exactly. So with that, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you think that's something you should do, and have a nice day.